The Lodge isn't a film about grief on its own. It's a film about what happens when belief takes hold in someone who never chose it. Not belief as comfort, not belief as meaning, but belief is a system that operates whether you agree to it or not. Most horror films announce their threat. They tell you where the danger is, who it belongs to, and what it wants. The Lodge does something quieter. The horror doesn't arrive as an outside force. It arrives already installed. Grace enters the story shaped by belief that predates any of the decisions that brought her here. Belief that was taught, enforced, and survived severe trauma. Not because it was true, but because it was unavoidable. The film isn't asking whether Grace believes the wrong things. It's asking what happens when belief becomes the only framework left and no one intervenes to replace it. Grace's past as a cult survivor isn't backstory, it's conditioning. She's learned a system where obedience mattered more than understanding, where rules were followed without explanation, where punishment replaced dialogue, where belief wasn't chosen, it was absorbed. What matters is not what she was taught to believe, but how belief functioned. Belief didn't require evidence, it required submission. And systems like that don't disappear when you leave them, they go dormant. They wait for a moment when resistance weakens. Grief, coincidentally, creates that moment. Grief doesn't just hurt, it disorients, it collapses alternatives, it narrows the field of possible responses. In the Lodge, grief doesn't introduce belief, it removes the ability to refuse it. The Lodge itself isn't haunted, it's procedural. Isolation is not just the atmosphere here, it's function within the narrative. Snow removes escape. Silence removes contradiction. Distance removes any witnesses. Belief doesn't need to persuade Grace. It only needs to go unchallenged. No one arrives to offer a second explanation. No voice interrupts the narrative taking shape. No authority appears that isn't punitive. This is how belief systems survive. Not through argument, but through absence of argument. When there's no alternative framework available, belief stops being something you hold. It becomes the environment. The children here are not villains. They are tests of the system. They're not driven by malice. They're driven by pure curiosity. They test whether belief can still be enforced, whether reality will bend if pressure is applied. Each escalation happens not because they push too far, but because nothing stops them. Cruelty here is not emotional, it's procedural. Belief is enforced not through violence, but through neglect. Eventually, belief no longer needs reinforcement. It becomes self-sustaining. By the final act, belief no longer requires proof. There is no competing explanation left. Ritual has replaced reason. Punishment has replaced communication. And doubt has become completely indistinguishable from guilt. The horror is no longer what grace believes. It's that belief has become the only structure left. What makes the lodge unbearable is not what happens, but what never does. No interruption, no correction, no consent. Belief is inherited, it's enforced, and it's allowed to continue unchecked. The most terrifying thing about the lodge isn't what belief demands. It's that no one is ever given the chance to refuse it.